Our next Diamond keynote is Mr. Jack Tyson, Chief Technology Officer for Panduit, and he is joined by Mr. Tom Dorwart, who's Enterprise Technology Center Manager for Chicago headquartered Cabela's. Gentlemen.
How are you? Thank you.
Tom looks like he should be hunting today.
I should be hunting and fishing or something.
Panduit has been quietly putting the pieces together for a reference architecture called the Unified Physical Infrastructure. I've watched this for a couple of years now. I found it to be fascinating. And it really is one of the central points of this symposium, that IT and physical infrastructure are converging, must converge. And the idea behind the UPI is essentially to take the zero layer of the OSI stack, which is the physical, the MEP plant, and bolt it to the rest of the OSI model. Panduit has also gone now a long way down the road on developing a reference architecture for smart and connected buildings, moving outside of the data center and using the network and the IT backbone. He's joined today by Tom Dorwart of Cabela's, who you know as a large premium outfitter. Multiple locations. I think the challenges faced by the retail industry are probably among the greatest of any of the industry sectors in how they transition to the new world, how they manage all of their retail outlets, the physical addresses, and then as well, how do they integrate that fully online. It is one of the great transformations. It is one of the points that makes IT, while we hear the complaint that IT is a large energy user through the data center, the fact of the matter is it is making our lives so much easier and so much more efficient in so many other ways that's often overlooked. So Jack and Tom are here to talk about how Panduit has helped Cabela's wrestle with that very problem. Gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. Should get the slide advancing device.
Do we have, oh, you need the pointer?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, I think it's always exciting at these events to talk about real world situations and the challenges that you all face. It's one of the great enjoyments that I have in attendance is to hear from you about these kinds of challenges, and Tom certainly has faced these challenges with a new data center and with remote site management challenges in many retail stores across the Cabela's footprint. So first, just a quick background on Panduit. We are a global company, been around since 1955, privately held, really a technology-based organization, and we have focused in the last few years on both the connected buildings environment, as Bruce said, in the data center and industrial automation, and a fairly broad footprint as IT and progresses more deeply into each of these significant applications, both to be more efficient in energy consumption, but to leverage the value of the IT infrastructure much more broadly. So we have this focus on the enterprise as well, and the connectivity between that data center that serves the enterprise. And Tom certainly faced some challenges as he's gone forward. So Tom, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Cabela's.
Sure.
Too. I'm sure everybody knows, but you can sort of fill us in.
Sure. Cabela, this is our 50th anniversary, actually. Cabela's been around since 1961, selling hunting, fishing, and outdoor gear. Our corporate office is in Sidney, Nebraska, which is in western Nebraska, close to Colorado and Wyoming. We have 6,000 employees here in North America and about 35 retail stores. So one of the challenges that was alluded to earlier was how to keep that technology fresh, and if there is a problem, how to take care of that in a remote store, because our stores aren't, they used to all be in Nebraska, but now they're across the nation. A couple years ago, 3 years ago, we decided to build a new technology space because we're just running out of room. Our growth has been pretty good since 1961, and we decided to build in Omaha, Nebraska. and put about a 5,000 square foot raised floor in Omaha.
I see. Okay. So the other thing, Tom, is maybe you could go through some of your challenges that I think you faced in this new data center. What are the driving forces?
Right. Our biggest challenge was obviously power and cooling. We were running out of space. More servers every month, and consolidating as much as possible with virtual servers, but still running out of physical space. So that was our first drive to build a new data center. And then out of that new data center came our need we're going to make it our primary data center. And it would have been nice to just buy everything brand new and start from scratch, but we did have to migrate a lot of servers, and we're still doing that today. The two data centers are 400 miles apart, so a lot of logistics to take care of that. What I wanted to do for Cabell was something that would last well into the 10, 15 year. Watching the pods earlier today, who knows what's going to happen in 15 years?
That's right.
Data center might not be, as he said, as it is today. So I wanted to build something that would last them 10, 15 years and make sure we're able to house everything.
And service your growth, right?
Yeah, take care of our growth during that time.
Retail growth. Okay.
Yep.
So I think from your perspective, how did you come together with Panduit? Why did you look at Panduit?
Back in 2009, we've had a standard at our company since the early 90s, mid 90s of cabling and technology. And back in 2009, we decided to take a look and see if if there's something better out there, something newer, or should we just keep doing what we've been doing for the last 10 years?
Okay.
And so we went through and looked at a lot of different companies, and Panduit really had an overall solution that we were proud of.
Oh, very good. Okay. Maybe I can cover very quickly what Panduit is covering in the data center these days, and you can see it very graphically in this great picture of Tom's new data center.
Yeah, this is like day one after it was finished. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's very good. I think a lot of what you were challenged with in consolidation and bringing devices and other pieces of equipment is faced by many that are in the audience today. Maybe you could detail a little bit about those challenges and how you wrestled with bringing that consolidation to bear and putting in new infrastructure.
Yeah, the great thing about the design of this is, first of all, everything's pre-wired with fiber and copper, and so so bringing new stuff into here should be really a plug-and-play operation. Everything's ready to go, 100% pre-wired. All we have to do is make a few cross connects and power, and we're up and running.
I see. And that's important as you bring up your new retail stores, right? You want to be able to bring their services up quickly and be online as soon as possible, and very effective because you can't have any downtime at those stores.
Right. Oh yeah, downtime's not good. And as anybody here who works with construction, it seems construction's always behind, and we're always waiting on someone to get something done. So Cabela's, we usually pick a date and say we're opening this store on this date, and regardless of where we are, sometimes we only have a few days to get that infrastructure up and running.
I see. Well, that's quite a challenge, I'm sure. And if I can get this to work correctly. So maybe you could go through some of the individual elements that you put forth in the data center.
Yeah, we filled if you looked at that center, this is about half full. I don't know, maybe you could notice that, but we put about 60 racks in there. Like I said, they're all fully connected. Miles and miles of copper and fiber, dual paths to every cabinet, to every location, and dual power to every location also. 3,700 cable terminations. Luckily, my guys didn't have to do any of those. That was taken care of in a part of the build out. Cabela's did used to do all of our cabling and wiring.
You did?
A long time ago. So
yeah,
we started out doing that. But I tell you what, I'm a big Bixie fan and a big RCDD. You got to get somebody that knows what's going on if you want that for the future.
So challenges beyond the data center, I think, are one of the things we wanted to bring up today and talk about in many of you that have remote site issues in retail or in banking or those kinds of things. So, and in most cases, the challenge may be that you just can't have the right resources out at those remote sites. So that visibility becomes an issue. Maybe you could talk about that.
With our 35 stores, and actually we're opening up one in Springfield, Oregon this week. A lot of times the local IT guys first of all, they don't want to work at a retail store. They want to work in an IT shop somewhere. So it's kind of hard to get. So a lot of times we'll just get a kid from high school or going to college that is interested in IT, but he's also working retail. And so he's working in the fishing department because he loves fishing, and then we have him work on the closets, and that's okay. But more than likely, he enjoys the fishing more, and so he spends a lot more time in fishing, and neglects maybe the retail or the infrastructure portion of it. So it's tough to get a real IT guy, and he moves on. He graduates from college, he graduates from high school, and goes to college, and he's gone, and we have to retrain someone. So we do a lot of stuff remotely. And the PIM idea out there to get some kind of a first layer out there of to make it easier. First of all, if there are any moves, adds, and changes, and there are in retail, they're always moving gondolas or somebody's moving something around. So it's going to be nice, I think, just to say, hey, pick up that and move it here, and without having to. So we can have a remote set of hands that really isn't an IT person.
I see. So what we really attempted to do here was take a look at physical infrastructure in the data center environment and understand that, and really get a real-time view of as much of that data center as we can.
Right.
As well as begin to work towards a foundation of understanding so that work process and workflows, even out to your remote sites, can be done on a really seamless basis. And I know you're just getting started at that, but I know many of you in the audience really are facing those kinds of things where you are also working on firming up workflows and being able to deploy new resources more effectively. And in remote site situations, that's even more complex.
It is. It's hard enough at our main data center, and in our old data center, we use Excel spreadsheets to keep track of everything. And
a lot of people do.
Anybody that's doing that knows what that's like. This is going to really, I think, give a good base of what's out there and where it is.
Okay. And this way you'll be able to also take work orders and allow the remote stores then to act on a work order remotely with almost deft capability, but without being skilled, and connect the right. And you mentioned something, Tom, I think it was really interesting, is that your stores are considerably under reconfiguration as well on a seasonal basis. Is that true?
Yeah, some are. Most stores are. I mean, obviously, fishing in the spring and more hunting in the fall. They're all,
okay.
So we do a different product mix. So they'll move signs around and move end caps and change that stuff. So we do have some flexibility out there. Sometimes it's the guys are going to plug something in and unplug something else, and now we have two problems instead of just one. Now you have two problems.
Yeah. And this ability to look at the foundational layer and the physical infrastructure to ensure that any kind of fault that may exist throughout this system can be resolved quickly, because obviously if your point of sale devices and things like that aren't ringing up the cash, I'm sure somebody's on the phone to you right away.
Right.
Is that true?
Yeah, and I think that's going to help immensely in that. Pre-set up everything that needs to be done. Somebody can make those cross connects, and if they make a cross connect incorrectly, we'll know about it. Or if something goes offline, we'll know about it immediately before we get the phone call.
Yeah, very good. And I think as this goes forward, when you start to do more policy-based movement of assets and understanding really where the assets are, that's going to be of a critical nature too as your data center grows. So as you deploy new hardware and new services, new applications, really understanding how the physical infrastructure relates to those applications will be important.
Right. The best space to put that in with power and cooling, keep it in mind.